inspired by a great sense of patriotism, putting the interests of the nation and the country above their own personal interests, and to help Lesotho move forward. The three senior officers sitting here with us have agreed to the following: that they will all collectively, the three of them, go on leave of absence for a specified period, within a period between 14 and 21 days from now. During their absence of leave, they will undergo working visits in their related fields of work to specified SADC and Commonwealth, as well as African Union countries. During this period of leave of absence, they have agreed that they will not exercise any authority or undue influence over the Lesotho Defence Force or the Lesotho Mounted Police Service. To give practical effect to this agreement, the three senior officers, Lieutenant General Kamodi, Lieutenant General Mahau, Commissioner Tswana, have agreed to sign before all of us the Maseru Security Accord, which is an agreement that contains the terms of this security accord. This accord takes into account the need to provide harmonious relations between the leadership, the officers, and members of both Lesotho Defence Force and the Lesotho Mounted Police Service. They've also agreed that to do everything in their power, they will actively prevent, discourage, and ensure that no further confrontations or hostilities are caused and occur between the members and the units of the Lesotho Defence Force and the Lesotho Mounted Police Service.
For more on the latest developments in Lesotho, we're now joined by SABC contributing editor Vuyo Mvoko from the capital, Maseru. Vuyo, good evening. Now, Vuyo, how easy or difficult was it to get the three security officials to agree to this accord?
Well, Lulu, it wasn't easy at all. There was a lot of toing and froing. And remember, there's a lot at stake here, for everyone. As we know by now, members of the Defense Force and the police forces here in Lesotho are known or have a reputation of taking sides or siding with certain politicians. So people would not have been comfortable leaving their political homes, so to speak, because obviously they would have found themselves roles to play in ensuring that the leaders that they support or the parties that they support are not shortchanged. That's something to expect in a situation like you have had, but everybody agrees that that situation was certainly untenable, because you cannot have your security forces taking siding with political parties or with political party leaders. So this really had to happen. But of course also, these are career police officers, these are career soldiers who are not taking kindly to being moved around and told what to do. So it really took, their pride and everything that goes with that took quite a knock in having to be told that, look guys, in the interest of your nation, given what we have to do, you really have have to lead by example and in fact make a sacrifice. So it wasn't easy, but at the end of the day, it's something that had to be done to advance what had already been set in motion last week, where Parliament reopened and every party then committed to all the processes that have to be undertaken leading up to that February election.
Now,
Lulu?
where to from now?
Well, Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is the SADC mediator, is literally babysitting the players here. In other words, he has to ensure that the political parties deliver on their part of the deal. And with this security accord that was signed today, remember there are other problems that were not brought to the fore or even discussed today. For example, there are people within the coalition government, but also members of the opposition, who believe that certain people, including the heads of the various components of the security establishment, but even including, in fact, the deputies who are now going to be in charge, have a case to answer with regard to the coup that took place here last week. There are people that they believe, among them some of the deputies that are now going to be in charge, who they believe that have a case to answer, and in fact should be charged for a whole range of charges, including among them treason. So the mediator has to now sit with the parties and actually hammer into their minds the fact that compromises actually have to be made, and we will see how he will be able, whether in fact he will be able to navigate his way around those questions. So it's not like the accord that was signed today sort of ends the impasse, so to speak, where the police were and the army were at each other's throat. There are a whole lot of things that still have to be ironed out. Add to that the fact that politicians do know that some of the people that were relying on to enforce certain decisions, or at least to provide them with cover, those people are now gone. So they too have to live with knowing that what they had banked on at some point as something that's going to cover them or protect them is now gone. So there's a lot that still has to happen, or that will have to be done between now and that February election. Lulu?
Now, Vuyo, Cyril Ramaphosa managed to get Parliament reopened after months of wrangling. Why does it look like it's been easy for him to get Lesotho back to constitutional democracy?
Well, it may seem like that, but to use his own words, it was precisely through or because of the efforts of people like President Robert Mugabe, people like President Jacob Zuma, all the effort and processes that preceded what we are seeing today that made it possible for him to actually achieve what seemed an impossibility not too long ago. So he is actually crediting those processes that perhaps in the eyes of many didn't make or didn't secure the kinds of breakthroughs that we are seeing now. But he's saying without those processes that went into what we are seeing today and what we saw last week would actually not have been possible at all. Lulu?
Vuyo, thank you so much for joining us.